Hey everyone, it's Justine bringing you 2 Christmas cards today for the Tons Fall release. I'm really excited about this release. It has some really amazing stamps, over 24 new stamps and dies, 6 couture mixes, and just such cool products. I love Effie and the Tons products. They're always so unique, like these layering stamps. There's a wreath, there's flowers, there's leaves, all sorts of things, and it's got a perfect name, Christmas Wreath Builder. And this is absolutely gorgeous and may even make an appearance in my October series for the 12 Days of Christmas once again. So I'm going to be taking this and I'm just going to be stamping it in very simple way, the way it was meant to be used. I'm not going to try and think of something out of the box for this stamp just because it's so gorgeous and elegant on its own. All I wanted to do was just stamp it the way it was meant to be stamped. Ensuring that my paper is in the corner of my mini MISTI, I'm going to be stamping here using my mini ton ink pad in Deep Emerald. And then I'm going to go ahead and start with the layers. Now I try to stamp with a lighter color for the first base of it, but because this base is quite a bit of the actual image and the layers are quite small on top, I did want to have sort of a medium green and not go to my lightest shade. So as you can see, it just takes a little bit of turning, but it's going to line up exactly once you line it up. So it's only going to fit perfectly in one spot, and you just keep going along in a circle here until you're able to line it up. So for this layer here, I'm going to be using the Basil Mojito ink, and it's a really dark ink here, and it's got that really beautiful deep shade of rich green here. And I'm using this and it's going to do the branches. And the last and final layer is going to do sort of the stem in the middle, and that's a really cool feature too because you can create a nice stark contrast if you wanted to stamp it in a brown color or in black, but I decided on green. So once again, I just line it up, and my trick is to keep an eye on one single leaf and twist it until I know it's in the right spot, and that way it doesn't confuse me at all. And again, it only fits correctly in one spot, so it's really perfect. And then when I ink it up, I'm just going to ink up the middle here, and then you can see how realistic this wreath actually looks. It looks absolutely stunning. It's so gorgeous and elegant just by itself. Using a stamp from the stamp set, I'm going to stamp the sentiment, "Have a Holly Jolly Christmas," in black ink, right in the center of the card. You could also emboss this in gold or silver as well, and it would look great also. Next up, I was going to stamp the bow, and it also has 3 layers. So the first layer, you can see that I stamped it a couple of times on the scrap sheet of paper. I had a little bit of residue from the manufacturer, so it took me a couple of tries to season the stamp. But now that I've stamped it several times, it's stamping perfectly clear now with no issues. It has 3 very beautiful layers on it to give it sort of a 3D appearance or a textured look. And I think it looks kind of like a velvet bow when it's all finished, said and done. I love all 3 of the layers, and what's really great is that you have an image that helps you line everything up. Now before I move on to the second card, I'm just going to add the finishing touches. I decided to put this on a black card base, but that's really your choice. I know a lot of people don't like black for the holidays, so you could use green, brown, red, whichever you like. And I added a piece of silver glitter paper here that I found in my stash, and then I'm going to add some glue on top of this panel here and add that to my card, and then finally attach the bow to the front. I think this looks so elegant in the end. As you can see in the final photo, I added some Nuvo drops here, and I'm going to add them on my second card as well so you can see how I do them. All right, so moving on to the second card, which is absolutely amazing. This stamp set, I have to say, might be one of my favorite stamp sets of all time. It is so amazing because you can build each step of the stamp with inks and you don't have to color, and I love that. Even though I do love coloring, but I love it more as a therapy rather than having to do it on my cards. So you have this outline, and then you have the leaves to stamp on the inside, then the layers on the leaf, then you have the berries. So you have to line it up a little bit, but it is very forgiving, I found. Like I stamped the branch a little off center, for example, and you don't even notice once all the layers are on there. It's so gorgeous. I can't even get over how much I love this stamp. It makes this actually so much fun to create with. This evening I actually had to move, so I moved my entire craft room into this tiny little space that is also going to be my bedroom, and I have everything just kind of around me, spread all over the place, stacked up, and I had to make this card for the hop, and Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure creating it despite my current craft room situation and the disaster around me right now. I can't even begin to explain the disaster right now. So anyway, I'm going to go on. I'm going to stamp these. I'm going to put you into a little bit of a fast mode while I'm doing it, and you can see how it's being built up. I actually stamped this 2 times when I was finished. But for time purposes and to save you a little bit of viewing time, I only show the stamp being built up once on the card itself. So I've stamped the outline in Basil Mojito, and then I stamped the inside with Emerald. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the last layer of the leaves also in Basil Mojito. So I used only 2 colors of ink to build this up, but I felt like these final touches deserved the darkest green color like the outline. So I stamped that twice actually just to get a more realistic look and to get that really dark look there. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the branch. Now this is what I was saying when I actually stamped it. It didn't line up perfectly, but once all the berries and everything were all lined up, you don't even notice it. So I absolutely love the fact that this is very forgiving. So I'm grabbing the berries now, and there are 2 layers for the berries. So you stamp them once and that fills in the color, and then you stamp them again with another layer to give them sort of a 3D look. In the end, I covered them with quite a bit of the Nuvo drops. However, you could leave it like this, and I think it actually looks better without the Nuvo drops, but I already added them and I can't go back and change it now. So I went ahead and stamped a sentiment from the stamp set in VersaFine ink. I just wanted a really great black ink that could get that really fine detail of the crispness of the calligraphy font, and I don't find I can get that from most dye inks. So I do prefer this VersaFine black for these really fine sentiments. So once I was all finished, I went ahead and added some sparkle with the Wink of Stella pen. This is one of those steps that you don't really see too well on camera, but gives a nice little effect when it's all said and done. It gives a really nice glitter look to the card. And now you can see I've actually stamped it twice on here, and I'm going to go in with the Nuvo drops. I'm using red berry, so that works really well for the color. And once I added them, I squeezed them a little bit too big. They kind of blended a bit together. As I said, I actually prefer it without the Nuvo drops, and if I were to go back and change it, I probably would. However, sometimes that happens in crafting. You prefer to go back, but it happened, and it's still a gorgeous card. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you want to check out the blog hop as well as some giveaways, then go ahead and click on my blog. Over on the right, you have my subscribe button, and down below, I have some other cards featuring the ton stamps as well. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have a wonderful weekend.